That's right. We're on for another edition of Be Informed, Be Empowered, Be Engaged, District 7 City Council Member Brenda MCNAIR. And so thank you for joining in with us now. And now we're going to the host of the show, and that's going to be Council Member MCNAIR.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Williams, and thank all my listeners for joining us on this morning. This is Councilwoman Brenda MCNAIR. Be informed, be empowered, be engaged on this morning where we tackle a lot of our community issues. I am your host on this morning, and we have some wonderful guests on our show this morning. I hope that you have grabbed your coffee, your tea, and you are sitting at your kitchen table or maybe your recliner, ready to take notes, take down the names, and take the numbers and give these young people a call if you need some assistance. So today we have 4 guests, and on the show today we have on my right Dr. Kamadi. Did I say that correct?
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did say it right. And then on my left we have retired
Command Sergeant Major.
Mr. Shaw. Look, I wrote it down wrong last night. He got on me, so I let him finish that out. And also we have Dr. Carol Davis on my left. Today they actually are bringing some professionalism to the table. Today is Mental Health Monday. We also have a caller. Her name is Dr. Denise Granberry. She's also a counselor as well and a professional that will be sharing on this morning. So if you have not, you heard it in our intro, these power pack moments that we will have today. Please chime in, get ready for a great, great conversation. And so on the phone today, we have Miss Granberry on the phone. She's going to be our first speaker today. I would like for her to introduce herself, and once you introduce yourself, just give us your favorite scripture that you hold near and dear to your heart. Ms. Granberry, are you on the phone? Dr.
Yes,
Granberry.
I'm here. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
morning.
Can you speak a little louder in the phone? Can't hear you.
Yes, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And my name is Dr. Denise Granberry. I'm a licensed cosmetologist of 20 years in the profession, certified life coach, an advocate for mental health. I have my doctorate degree, an honorary doctorate degree in humanitarianism, and I love serving the community. That's the gist of it. And one of my most favorite scriptures is, God is close to those who are broken-hearted.
Okay.
And that goes in the lines of what I've gone through in my life.
Okay. Can you hold that thought? We'll be right back with you. So I'm going to ask Mr. Calvin Jones, can you introduce yourself today?
Good morning. Again, retired Calvin Jones.
Talk in your mic, please, sir.
Calvin Jones, retired Command Sergeant Major from the United States Army. Served for 32 years. Served in telecommunication, which is now cybersecurity. Retired in 2005. My favorite scripture is Psalms 37:5. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in Him, and He will act.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Jones. So, Ms. Carol, Dr. Carol.
Good morning. I am Carol Davis, and I am employed with Best Day Psychiatry and Counseling. I've been in the mental health field for 30 years. My specialty are children. I also coordinated a geriatric program when I was employed at Cumberland County Mental Health Center. I'm very glad to be here to share some information concerning mental health.
All right. Dr. Cromartie, please.
Hi, my name is Dr. Rochelle Cromartie. I've been in the behavioral health field for 23 years. My specialty would be considered youth. adolescents, children, adults. I love working with veterans. My specialty is working with those who have addictions, as well as substance abuse issues. My favorite scripture would be Jeremiah 29:11, and that's for I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not harm you, plans to keep you, give you hope in a future. I also am an adjunct professor at the University of New Hampshire. I am the only African American adjunct with that university in New Hampshire. So I really love that. And I love a lot of things. I won't run too many things down, but
just hold on to that. We'll come back to you.
We'll hold it.
I thought she was going to sing that for a second.
I know y'all been saying you want me to sing. But
Yeah, I have 3 of Simon Temple members as my guests this morning. So that speaks volume on this morning. And so we want to go back to Dr. Granberry. Are you still on the line, Dr. Granberry?
Oh, yes, I'm still here.
All right. I just have one simple question for you. Where did you grow up?
You know what? I grew up everywhere, and the reason being is because I was a military brat, and my dad was a single parent, and so I traveled everywhere, overseas, everywhere. But when my dad got ready to retire, I was between Oklahoma and Texas.
Yes. Oh, thank you for that. So we spoke on Saturday. You shared a little bit with me about your path in life. But however, can you tell us what early experiences helped shape your career path as of today? It was very impactful that you shared what you shared with me on Saturday. But however, you can pick and choose what you want to talk about. But just share a little bit about your career path, what got you on this path.
Okay, so as far as the mental health or just being in the industry as a cosmetologist as well?
Let's talk about the mental health.
Okay, so in 2018, I went through a traumatic experience with my son. I have been dealing with mental health issues with my son since he was about 11 years old. In 2018, my son murdered my fiance in my face in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And so that's what started me on this path of mental health. Now, mind you, before that, I was already advocating because I had outsourced everything in the state of North Carolina trying to get my son help. And when I went through that traumatic experience, I heard God say, will you continue to wonder in fear, nursing your past wounds of what you went through with your son, or will you allow me to bring inner healing to you, to the community, and humility into your life so that you can embrace your divine destiny of being a mental health advocate, of helping other parents who are going through the same situation as you, coming out of the situation that you've gone through, or getting ready to go into the situation. And I know that the reason why I did go through that is because there are a lot of parents and there are a lot of mental health advocates, and there are a lot of counselors that don't know the answers. A lot of them are ashamed. I was ashamed to talk about what I was going through with my son. I was hurt about the things I was going through with my son. I was so embarrassed, I didn't know who to talk to or who to run to but Jesus. That's all I had. When I tell you I exhausted everything in the state of North Carolina as far as counseling, as far as getting my son help, they said they had never seen a mother like this that was screaming out for so much help. And I think that because a lot of parents are ashamed, they're scared to talk to the therapist. And so that leaves the therapist that they're talking to in a cliffhanger, because the therapist is like, I need to know what's going on with you and your son. I need to know what's going on with you and your daughter, but you're ashamed to talk about it. So I want to be that voice. I need to be that voice for other parents and also for therapists as well, to know that it's okay to tell people, hey, my son is dealing with this mental health. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it came from, because mental health can catch anybody at any given time. It don't have no race. It'll attack anybody at any given time. And so that's why I'm on this path, and I advocate and I do speaking engagements to let other parents know that there is somebody out there that cares. There is somebody that even dealt with rejection, because as a parent, you deal with rejection yourself from your child when you're going through that, because you just don't wake up and say, okay, when my son turns 13, he's going to be acting out in school. I'm going to have to give him meds. You know how that feels for a parent? And you're exhausting yourself. Even as a single parent, you're exhausting yourself. And even parents that have both parents in the household, it happens. And we don't need to be ashamed of talking about this, because it's needed. And I have to admit, I was ashamed. I was in denial, because I wanted to see my son. I had it planned out for him. I wanted to see him play football. I wanted to see him play basketball. I knew he was good in sport. I wanted to see my son go to the prom. I wanted to see my son graduate and walk across the stage. I didn't get to experience that. And there are a lot of parents that are experiencing that, and they will not open up their mouth because they feel like the community is not helping. And it's only so much that a therapist can do. And there needs to be a safe place to where the therapist and the parents and the child can be open and talk about what they're going through. There has to be a safe place. It can't be a judgment zone. Oh, where the mom at? Oh, where the dad? The dad ain't in the life? No, we can't do that. It's so vital and so important that we explore even the issues of rejection and how to find the healing. Because that's the elephant in the room, is rejection. And we've all dealt with that through our colleagues, through school, some parents. That's the elephant in the room. Jesus even dealt with rejection. And so that's why I use my platform to advocate. That's why I use my platform to do speaking engagements and just go talk to the community and be there for the community. Because let me tell y'all something. Each and every day or every other day, I'm getting a call from a parent, from a caregiver, from a grandparent that's taking care of their kids that are going through these things, you all. And they don't have the resources. And I really pray and hope that a lot of politicians and governors would really open up a guaranteed platform to talk about mental illness instead of walking past somebody, instead of driving past that somebody and saying, oh, it's going to be okay. I really pray and hope that when we be going to these galas and when we be going to these events, that you will look around you in that room and notice that is somebody that you prayed for at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning that's going through something. But we'll get dressed and we'll wear these dresses and we'll wear these suit and ties, and we won't even talk to that neighbor next to us. We'll just sit there and eat that plate at that round table and the gala is over with. But what seed did you plant to help somebody through healing and through rejection?
All right.
And my son now is in prison. You think it feels good for me to go see my son in prison? They're doping him up and drugging him up just like they did when he was a teenager.
Oh, wow.
They're doping him up and drugging him up even in prison. And they did this to my son in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I went through it there. Yes, I did. All they want to do is drug up the kids. They don't have no placement for them unless they are of a status quo. Meanwhile, we have a lot of children out here that are going from pillar to post in the system because the system is broken. And also because a lot of parents don't want to speak up and are ashamed. And I encourage even therapists, go to the counseling meetings when they are there. Go speak to the mayor and tell them your hurts and your pains. Because when you're sitting in those therapy sessions with those children and with those parents, you guys are in pain too. Because you love the community, you love the kids. So there's a pain, but if they don't hear our voices as an advocate, our voices as a therapist, how do they help us meet the odds?
Okay, Ms. Granberry, Dr. Granberry, we want to thank you for sharing with us this morning from your heart and a concern for the community and others. I was really moved by your testimony on Saturday, and I'm still thinking about it. And mental health and homelessness sometimes generally run together. It goes hand in hand. And so we'll be back with you if you stick around. We will have more questions for you. Right now, we want to move on to retired Sergeant Major Calvin Jones so that he can share with us some of his testimonies and his favorite scripture. You did that already, right?
Yes.
Can you repeat that again for us,
Yes.
sir? Because the Word of God means a lot to us as we go through. We have to remember the Word of God to help us on our day-to-day basis.
Yes, a favorite scripture, Psalms 37:5.
He's a talker, y'all. He's trying to act a little shy this morning.
37:5.
Oh.
Commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will act.
Yes, just
A
tell
military-
us a little bit about your background.
Again, Calvin Jones. I'm from Aiken, South Carolina. I joined the military in 1974, and I served 32 years in the military. During that time, you experience different trauma, which leads to PTSD. Trauma initially starts basic training, AIT, and into your permanent party unit. And
So you saying that you suffer from PTSD, is what you're saying?
that's the stages that contributes to PTSD for soldiers or veterans that served in the military.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That served in the military, beginning again with basic
Does
training.
that happen to most soldiers?
Yes, there's some form of PTSD for most soldiers that served in the military for a long period of time, and even those that served for a short period of time. Those that serve in wars, which we had the Afghanistan war, and you can go back to the Vietnam area, which was the highest percentage of PTSD veterans in the history, and Afghanistan is the second highest. So it depends on the conflicts that they're involved in, depending on the wars that they're involved in, the different levels of PTSD based on their experiences or the trauma that they received while serving in the military.
So you operated as a strong leader, right?
Yes.
You talked a lot to me. I mean, you shared with me a lot about how you climbed the ladder, staying focused, and career oriented, goal driven. So talk a little bit about that and how your leadership supports the mental health environment.
As serving in the military to achieve rank, it requires a stellar performance. It's a strict institution, and there's guidelines you must follow, and there's policies you must follow in order to make it to achieve the next rank. I was an enlisted soldier, which the rank for enlisted soldier begins as an E1 through E9. as you achieve those guidelines, and as I achieved those guidelines, I achieved those standards through duty performance, I was promoted to the next rank. When you get to the NCO rank, it's more challenging because you appear in front of a panel at that point, and you answer questions, and again, it's based on your performance. Then after those procedures, then you go to a board where your records are reviewed by senior NCOs of the sergeant majors, and you're selected for sergeant first class, master sergeant, and sergeant major and command sergeant majors from those panels.
Oh, very impressive. You heard Dr. Granberry talk about her barriers as far as resources for mental health. Can you talk about some of your challenges that you may have had as far as policies, getting, all the treatments that you may need after you got out of the military and up until now? What year do you
I retired in 2005. I retired in 2005. The system has improved. Policies have improved since I retired. They develop training for military leaders. They develop training for civilians. We now interact with the local civilians to provide mental health care. There's a VA National Career Center for PTSD, Center for Deployed Psychology.
Where's that located?
There is a website. You can research that on the website. It will give you the phone number, and also will give you the website and any questions you may have in reference to PTSD and how it affects a veteran, or how it affects a soldier, how it affects a family. The guidelines is on there, and there's also training on there that leaders can participate in, family members can participate in, loved ones can participate in. The Center for Deployment Psychology, which is CDP, is another program that was developed to help with transition. And the last one is the Psycho Armor Institute. Again, that institute was established so you can train leaders on how to interact with soldiers when they're showing signs of PTSD.
All right. We thank you for that, Mr. Jones. I hear a lot about PTSD from a lot of my clients that that have served in the military. You gave some powerful information about how to get help. So we have 3 minutes left. We almost at the top of the hour. So keep in mind, I want to ask you a question about how politicians can help improve the system when it comes to mental health, to help individuals that are suffering from mental illness at this time. So we have a few minutes. We're at the top of the hour, and so we'll be back. We got a few more minutes. Okay, we have 2 more minutes. All right, just let us have it, Mr. Jones. You got 2 minutes to share with us. What do you think about politicians, a policy that we can actually present and implement into the system?
Well, as I visit medical centers for appointments and health and welfare for veterans, from a political standpoint, from healthcare providers, resources are cut. So during every budget cut, resources are cut. So the system is limited to the resources they can provide based on the budgets that's cut from each politician or each election.
Okay. All right. Are you? Is that it, Mr.
Yes, that's it. I'm sorry. Yes, that's it.
Hey, look, he's so calm. I mean, this is a different person in this room this morning. This is not the same man that I know. This is not the same man.
There's a reason.
Doing well, Mr. Carroll.
Doesn't read.
Not the same man that I know with the run-on sentences, but I thank you, Mr. Jones, for that information. We'll be back with you in a few after this break. We got how many more minutes? We good? We good. We will be back in a second.
Hurricane experts are tracking 2 disturbances in the Atlantic for potential tropical development. 2 high-profile Republican politicians are leaving the stage with this year's fall elections. U.S. Senator Tom Tillis decided not to run, and Republican Senate President Pro Tem Phil Berger lost a razor-thin race for his seat. Western Carolina University political science professor Chris Cooper says Tillis is now out with his views of the political world in a new book. Wildfires are raging across Reno, Nevada area. While many year-round students have already started classes, today marks the first day of the 2026-27 academic year for many traditional calendar students across the state. The new Haddon County School Board is considering a policy that would ban students from taking photos or videos of other students or teachers without consent. Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
I'm Jamie Monticelli, WIDU Radio News. The Greater Fayetteville Chamber says join them for the 2026 State of the Community. It is tomorrow at 11 a.m. at the Crown Expo Center. Hear updates on economic development, healthcare, education, local government, and collaborative partnerships. Join Mayor Mitch Colvin today for coffee and conversation in City Council chambers at City Hall. It is a great opportunity to learn more about city initiatives, hear updates on key topics, and connect directly with the mayor, staff, and fellow community members. Again, that is today at 10 a.m. at City Council chambers. Looking for something fun to do in Fayetteville? Check out the 34th Annual Umoja Festival that is happening Saturday, August 29th. This community event is packed with music, arts and crafts, food trucks, vendors, and more, and admission is free. It takes place at Seabrook Park, the Smith Recreation Center. From WIDU Radio, I'm Jamie Monticelli.
Monday morning starting out feeling pretty good out there. Temperatures in the 60s, a nice change of pace compared to how humid it's been all month long. As we head into the afternoon, we're mostly sunny to at times partly cloudy with a similar warm up to yesterday, reaching the mid to upper 80s. Overnight, we'll be in the low to mid 60s again, clear to at times partly cloudy. Then Tuesday, it's more of the same with more humidity by Wednesday and Thursday. I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels in the NCN Weather Center.
Bless the Lord. I'm Dr. Ann T. Newell, pastor of the Soul Harvest Apostolic Church, the church not just there in the community, but there for the community of Spring Lake, North Carolina. We're looking for more than a few good men and women to join the team. Iron sharpeneth iron. We may have what you need. You may have what we need. Catch the vision. Join the team. Join Wake Up.
At Fayetteville State University, you will do something you thought you could never do. And never say never again. With NC Promise $500 per semester tuition, dare to see where you can go. Check out all your options, including our new cybersecurity program. Because tomorrow just can't wait. Fayetteville State University. Anything really can happen. Are you in?
When we lose someone we love, the need for comfort, care, and guidance is more important than ever. At Herring Funeral Care and Cremations, we're here to walk you through every step. Located at 2720 Murchison Road here in Fayetteville, we are committed to serving families with compassion, dignity, and respect. Our experienced and dedicated staff will help you create a service that honors your loved one's memory, a final tribute that is meaningful, personal, and within your means. Whether traditional or uniquely tailored, we'll help you celebrate a life once lived with grace and understanding. At Herring Funeral Care and Cremations, your family becomes part of ours. Visit us today or call us at 910-488-6217 to learn more about how we can serve you when it matters most.
Hello, I'm Dr. Teresa McAllister, the founder of Rafa Ministries Family Center, and you're listening to Wake Up.
Hi, this is DJ Paul G.
And this is DJ 06. And we are the Gospel Blend Brothers. Join us every Friday
from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. for
the Drive Time Gospel Mix,
as we get you to and from your destination.
Vibing on good gospel music.
In the mix.
On WIDU 99.7 FM and 1600 AM. The Drive Time Gospel Mix.
This is Sarah Alford, and I am the pastor of Joy Fellowship Outreach Ministry located at 18336 Highway 87 West, Tar Heel, North Carolina. And I am excited to be a part of Wake Up.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake
up. And we're back now for the second half of Be Informed, Be Empowered, Be Engaged with Councilmember Brenda McNair, District 7 from the City of Fayetteville Council. Now back to our host, Councilmember McNair.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Thank you guys for hanging in there. We're not done yet. We have about 30 minutes of this impactful conversation. And so now we want to talk with Dr. Kara Davis. She's been waiting and anticipating to share with you her life story in her profession with everyone at this time. Can you talk a little bit about what you do on a day-to-day basis?
I'm an employee again with Best Day Psychiatry and Counseling. I've been in the mental health field for approximately 30 years. I started when I actually came out of
30 years?
I've been approximately 30 years.
That's
yes.
a long time.
That's a very long time.
Yes.
Very long time. I started when I actually came out of college, North Carolina Central University, where I was employed in Hope County. I implemented the very first grant prevention program for youth. So that was my basic foundation into the mental health field, working with young people. Okay, and then I proceeded to get my master's degree. That's when I actually got into counseling itself. And from there, because I was serving so many faith-based clientele, I pursued my doctorate in ministry, which has been very instrumental, not only in ministry myself, but also in the practice. Again, I do serve youth as young as 3 years of age.
Oh, wow.
Through 18. However, I do periodically see adults because a lot of the youth that I started seeing when they were young, they're in their adulthood, so I continue to see them. So there won't be like a gap in the treatment or them seeing another therapist.
Let me ask you this. I actually raised 2 children outside of my own children. Unfortunately, both of them, I noticed that they were struggling in school. Mm-hmm. However, their dad and the school system did not recognize that. Can you talk a little bit about what early signs should families and educators look for in children and teens that may indicate mental health concerns, and what steps should they take to seek help?
Yes.
Because that was very disturbing to me, because her dad thought maybe she just didn't want to do her homework.
Right.
But she would cry to no end, and she still was not able to complete her assignments that the teacher gave her. Let's talk a little bit about that, because that's serious to me, having to live that myself.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
I was listening to Dr. Granberry when she was speaking concerning the traumatic experiences with her son. One of the issues of concern in the mental health field, we have to be able to identify the early warning signs that something is wrong with our children. Mm-hmm. We can't just ask somebody, well, what are the early warning signs? We have to be knowledgeable concerning the warning signs. For example, anger. Are they angry? Are they withdrawn? Is there changes in their eating habits? Is it changing in their sleeping habits? Are there any environmental changes? Is there anything going on that interrupts the norm of their daily living? Their appearance, the child is used to being neat and clean and well kept, but all of a sudden you notice that there's just a lack of interest in that. Also, communication, the way that he communicates with the family, the way that he engages with the family. All of these are early warning signs that maybe there is something wrong. Also, whenever you identify that there is something wrong, the very first step is to seeking treatment for the child. You can Google mental health treatment. You can use word of mouth. You can use resources that people may provide for you. That is the very first step. The very first thing that I do when I see children, I complete a very in-depth comprehensive clinical assessment that covers all areas of the child's life, the child's family, the child's history. Because believe it or not, I don't want to get into a lot of the neuroscience because that's another topic in itself. But a lot of the things that children are experiencing is genetic. If you really look at it, that's why I ask a lot about the family history. Is there any family history of depression? Is there any family history of anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenic, autism?
Does that skip a generation sometimes?
Does it skip a generation?
Yeah. I mean, like a family member, like an auntie.
It's a possibility. That is why sometimes I do a genogram of the family to determine who was diagnosed with what and what. But the barrier to that is, especially we as African Americans, we don't talk about mental illness. We don't talk about our grandmother was suffering depression or our grandfather was bipolar. So a lot of times families really just don't know. The thing that they say is they act weird.
Dr. Granberry talked about being embarrassed.
Yes.
So what is the embarrassment?
Well, everybody wants to look good. Everybody wants to shine.
True.
Everybody wants to make people feel like they got it going on. Everybody don't want people to feel like...
So they begin to protect their loved ones, so to speak?
Not really to protect them, but sometimes a lack of knowledge, it drives the force of how people actually determine the route that they will go. So we have to kind of break that barrier and understand we all have mental health issues. We all got something going on.
That was my next question.
We all got something going on.
Yes.
And another thing, and that's why it's so important. The good thing about going to therapists, everything is confidential. If you're not going to hurt yourself, hurt other people, all of that, it's very, very confidential. And that way you can sit and you can really lay everything out on the table. And another thing is listen to people. Oh, it ain't nothing wrong with that child. He just needs his behind whooping. Oh, it ain't nothing wrong with that child. It's nothing. Don't listen to all these people. That child don't need no medication. But they don't understand it's the brain that's driving the behaviors. Okay, so that's why it's very critical to do a comprehensive clinical assessment to determine what is going on with the child. And a lot of times children don't want to work with parents because of history. Okay, they come up with a lot of physical discipline, and every time that they get in trouble, it's physical discipline. Okay, so they are disciplined with pain. So if you and I fight every time we talk, like we do, Brenda.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's because we have a lot in common, correct?
We have a lot in common, right?
We're creative creatures, right? We're artists, right?
Okay, so, and if I really needed you, why would I come to you if I know you're going to beat me up? Okay, or it's going to be violent. Okay, and parents have to learn how to just listen and observe. And that's why I tell them a whole lot of time, nonverbal communication with children is so powerful. Because guess what? If you argue with your child, it gives them the control. You're the adult. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Period. There is no in the middle.
Hold that thought. So hold that thought. We're going to go over to
Dr. Kramati.
right
Yes.
now, so she can share with us a little bit about her experience. How many years again you've
22, 23.
22, 23. Well, okay, so share some times and give us some good information on how to tackle mental health in the mental health arena, because it's very seriously. I mean, I didn't share my testimony, but however, it's not about me, it's about my son. So however, I understand everything that you guys are saying. I understand what Dr. Granberry was talking about when she said embarrassed. That's why I asked you about being embarrassed.
Yes.
I was, or rejection. My thing was I didn't want my son to be rejected. I did not want that. So I kind of like, kept some of the things that he was dealing with on the down low. And so, and I still do, I'm very protective of my children.
Absolutely.
And I'm there for my son. I said, no son, no Brenda. If you can't accept my son, you can't
That's right.
accept Brenda.
That's right.
So that's how much I pour into my son to make sure that he is safe and he gets the treatments and the love that he needs so that he does not be embarrassed about anything or feel any type of rejection. And so let me go with you, Dr. Kramati. Can you share with us? I know you ain't got to talk about it. You ain't got to help me because I've been dealing with this for a long time myself. My son was supposed to go into the Air Force, but he could not go into the Air Force because we discovered later on in his years, at the age of 22, that he had some stumbling blocks that would hinder him in life. But when he was a little boy, I just felt it in my heart that he would be with me, and I would have to be with him. When he was at 7 years old, I watched his personality, that he would be with me until I die. So
when I look over my purpose of being here, you mentioned stumbling blocks. You all have mentioned rejection, embarrassment. What I think my purpose, just professionally and just on this earth, when I look at where I've worked with the school system. So I've worked with K through 12, and I've migrated through to the university level. The reason why I believe that I am purposed for this time and the people that I serve is because of what you just now said. I am a generational breaker to let families understand that you do not have to be embarrassed. You do not have to feel rejected. Your child that everyone said that they didn't know what was wrong with your child. The child that was told that they'll never be able to go to college. The child that was told that they'll never amount or they'll be later on probably end up in juvenile detention. I am that person that takes those same people that have hope have not been spoken and show them that you can go to, like, you're able to go to college. I'm the person that's now in the seat of accessibility services at Fayetteville State University, and I help those that are transitioning from Fayetteville Tech, where they say, oh, at Fayetteville Tech, this is your last stop. There's nowhere else to go. So I help to ensure that those classroom accommodations and that a student who may be in a wheelchair is able to live on campus. You know what I'm saying? So like we look at those things. I look at the documentation. I look at the assessments, the diagnostic assessments, the psychological assessments, the veterans that are, you know what I'm saying, have been dealing with PTSD. Everything that everybody has dealt with in this room, it ends up somehow in some way coming
situation.
to even her situation. It ends up being on my table with whatever it is that I do. And so although I work as an accessibility coordinator, I'm a counselor, adjunct professor, I'm able to take each role and switch them out to help that family and help that person that I'm serving. As well as working within the church as a youth director. I'm able to take the son that Dr. Granberry was speaking about and giving them that outlet even on the spiritual and faith-based realm.
We'll attend church together, and I watch you. My grandson and my granddaughter was in your class one Sunday, your Sunday school class for youth, right?
Yes.
And when it was over, they all came back into the sanctuary and they was crying. I was like, what in the world did she do to those children? We was like looking at each other. Everybody's crying. I was like, what did you do to the children?
What did God do to the children?
And we was looking around like, is everybody crying? Yeah. So, and I just thought about it had to be God. You had to touch an area in their life that they were dealing with, and I knew that was it, because you was right there by their sides. You were consoling them even after they had to break down for whatever you talked to them about. I don't know. I don't even know what it was. It was a breakthrough. Okay, they got a breakthrough in your Sunday school class. I tell you, I watch you all the time, and so you guys can dialogue if you want. So if you have something that you want to share.
Yes, another thing too, I would like to share, collaboration within the mental health field is so important.
It is.
I am not a one-man show. I refer out to trauma-focused therapy. I refer out to the psychological evaluations. I link with the psychiatrists. I link with the school system. I link with the parents. I link with the natural supports. It's just a lot of collaboration. It says it takes a village to raise a child. So it's in order for us to make sure that we meet the entire needs of the child, everybody has to play their part. I can't do it all. I see approximately 40 kids a week, and so at the end of the day, I can't do it. When they leave my office, they have to have a plan. Where do I go from here? What is the assignment in order for me? And this is the reason why I'm very reluctant to see a lot of adults, because if the parents does not buy into what I'm doing, it's going to happen over and over and over. Because we're talking about 3-year-olds, 3, 4, 5-year-olds. And even though the therapy is very highly effective, the parents got to help me. They've got to go back and do the work.
How about parents that are on burnout? Because
how you gonna be on burnout?
It's simple.
We over. Okay.
Virtual.
Look, from experience,
listen, when we say
you're on burnout because you don't know what to do most of the time.
Okay, when you have children, there's no such thing as burnout. You got to get up and you got to keep moving. You can be tired. You can be tired or overwhelming. But guess what? This is the time that you utilize your resources. You utilize your resource. I was listening to Dr. Granberry talk about her son. There are levels of care in mental health. You go from outpatient, which is the Lord's level care. If the child does not seem that they are progressing and still contribute behaviors, you go to the next level of care, which is therapeutic. Okay, and then, or either you go to trauma focus, or you go to another level of care, all the way down to we try to work hard to keep the child in their environment.
Where's your office? Where's your office?
2587.
Yeah, I just want to know, because you're giving a lot of information that a lot of people probably don't have contact.
I'm at 2587 Raven Hill Drive.
Can they call you, your phone number?
They can feel free to give me a call if they have questions at 910-476-5402 for any additional resources. However, to be honest, I do have a extensive waiting list when it comes to
the reason why I stopped you is because when I began the journey with my son, I didn't know where to go. But the people that I did go, they did send me. The doctor did send me. It was just like I was like Dr. Granberry.
Right, exactly.
Where are the resources at?
Exactly.
Look, it took me years.
Exactly.
It took me years of struggle.
Absolutely.
To even find any resources up until now. It's still not where it needs to be.
Right, exactly.
So,
and Dr. Kamada can probably help me with this. There are NCOs in each county.
It is.
But if you're not knowledgeable concerning the East, for example, Fayetteville, Cumberland County, and surrounding areas is Alliance. And then you have the Sand Hills area, which is East Point. And then we have... they've changed some of them. But each, if you could Google what is my local NCO? That it will be the beginning of where you could start, because you could call that 1-800. I was trying to think of the one for Cumberland County, but it's the Alliance. You could call, I think it's 5. Don't quote me on that. However, you could call Alliance, and Alliance can lead you into the direction that you basically need to go. Okay.
Can I add, when you mentioned about families and burnt out, right now with certain services and resources, if a family, there's a lot of family they might not even have a vehicle. We have virtual services where you can meet virtually as well.
Right.
Also, just to add, our culture. We're advocates, and we have to make people understand, not make them, but try to cultivate things so that they'll understand that if you go to the dentist, if you go to the doctor, if you go to the emergency room, going to a therapist, that is just a different part of everything that's wrong. But people don't understand, it's the main part of what's wrong. How we think, it actually shapes our being, how we treat people, how we like our actions and things of that nature. So you listed all of the different therapeutic approaches. Cognitive behavioral therapy is an approach that it has 3 dimensions where it impacts your thinking. A therapist will simply teach you how to think. If in your negative thinking,
is that with parents or your?
That's called CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. A therapist will go in and they will help train how you think about life, yourself, and everything.
And your children.
And your children. Yes. It will change from a negative mindset to a positive mindset. Once your thinking changes, it impacts how you feel. And once you feel better, it impacts your actions. So, like, for example, how she said being in juvenile detention, things of that nature, that's just one of the many approaches, cognitive behavioral approaches. The last thing I want to say is that instead of understand when to call 911 versus when to call 988. 988 is a line for therapeutic and behavioral therapy. So like you see how some people they might call 911. I love our police officers, but they might not be able to handle a mental health crisis, and they'll think that you're being disrespectful when I'm having a mental breakdown. You need to call 988 when you are dealing with something that's non-related to a 911, understanding the difference.
That was good because we've talked about that, Troy and I, a lot when it comes to dollar 911 when your child or individual is having a breakdown. That is very serious, something that you need to think about and consider. You said it was 988. 988.
And it's confidential. I know we all have a persona. We have a face. I have called 988 in my lifetime because I've worked with you before. I did not want anyone to understand what was going through like years back and things of that nature. I've called. I haven't heard anything else about it. Yes. So they actually have ways that you can actually you can Google it. Text. If you're not a phone person, you can text. If they deem that it's necessary to send someone to you, they will send someone to you.
And also,
is Granberry still on the line?
I just have a
Dr. Granberry still on the line?
Yes, sir.
I have a quick question.
Okay, you can go ahead.
Let me ask this as a
When
parent, right?
you mentioned military.
Go ahead.
She was talking.
She was.
Go ahead. You was first.
You mentioned veterans.
I wanted to.
At some point in your treatment.
Go ahead. We'll give you. You can. Yeah. I said we got 2 minutes. Go ahead. We have 2 minutes left. Go ahead, Ms. Granberry. 1 minute left. We have 1 minute left.
As a parent, I want to talk to just touch on this for just a second on the political aspect, right? It's only so much that the mayor can do in the 6 members that he has up under him. Now, it's only so much that he's going to do, but if those, like with what Brenda's doing, those 6 members, if the mayor would really talk about mental health, it can really help and trickle down to the therapists that are on here. it can trickle down to the PTSD that the military veterans are going through as well.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Granberry. Dr. Granberry, we only have a few seconds left. We want to give everybody a chance to give their final say. Y'all got 3 seconds. We got to go. All right.
God is in control.
Remember self-care to avoid being overwhelmed or quote-unquote burnout.
Remember, help is available. Please do not try to handle PTSD situations alone.
All right. That's it, you guys. Thank you for joining us.